Hey everybody, John here from the esports department, going over this afternoon's NA slate. 4 games. It's the second day of the week for NA this weekend. Some interesting matchups. I think there's some good spots to put some money in on this slate. So, starting out with 100 Thieves at plus 140. They are 0-2 on the season, up against Team Liquid minus 200. They are 2-0 on the season. Team Liquid definitely looks like among the best teams in the league. I'm not sure that they're necessarily where Cloud9's at the moment, but we'll see. Should be a rightful favorite in this matchup. I'm not sure that 100 Thieves is one of my more favorite underdogs on this slate. I think Team Liquid looks pretty good. I think they're definitely out to make some statements. We'll see how the scoring looks in a little bit. It looks like there's some pretty high projections on some of these 100 Thieves players, so maybe they'll be a little bit more playable as an underdog. But next up, FlyQuest and TSM. I think this is one that's going to trick people a fair bit. I'm not a huge fan of FlyQuest this season. They made an 80 carry change, which is probably for the better. Wild Turtle, not one of the better 80 carries in the league. The problem is they switched him to Mashme, who's also has been around before, has not been one of the best 80 carries pretty much anywhere, even in Academy. So I'm not sure it's necessarily like a decent size upgrade for them in any way. And TSM, I think, has got some real fire under them at the moment. We saw them last night, Spica going off for the first time. Some good confidence for him. FlyQuest, not one of my favorite underdogs on the slate, despite the fact that odds-wise, they'd be the best underdog on the slate. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of them in this matchup. This one is very intriguing. Cloud9 and Evil Geniuses. Cloud9 obviously has won 19 out of their last 20 series. Pretty hard to bet against them at this point. They've looked absolutely dominant, and they're a pretty bloody team for the most part, so it's kind of hard to avoid them in DFS sometimes as well. Evil Geniuses, though, has also looked really good this season, and when a team has won 19 of their last 20 series, I'm always looking for a spot where I might be able to pick their opponents and get some value on their opponents. Evil Geniuses has looked pretty good. Someone's going to beat Cloud9 at some point, and I don't see any reason why this wouldn't be the time. I don't necessarily think Cloud9's going to lose this matchup at all, but this seems like a pretty good spot with how EG's been playing so far this season. I could definitely see them getting the win here, and I'm hoping their ownership won't be too high. I think they will have some ownership on this slate, unfortunately, so it won't be the best time for Cloud9 to lose. I would have preferred Cloud9 to lose like last week against 100 Thieves when nobody was on them, but I do like EG as a GPP play today. Hopefully you can get pretty low ownership on them. CLG versus Dignitas in the final matchup of the day. This one for me kind of comes down to whether or not there's internal issues in Dig. I think Dig is a better team than CLG overall. We just saw CLG on a very impressive win last night against Golden Guardians. Going to make a lot more people more interested in playing CLG on this slate. I think Dignitas makes a pretty live underdog. I think I prefer Dignitas and Evil Geniuses to 100 Thieves and FlyQuest. I think you're going to get lower ownership and maybe even a higher win percentage when it comes to Dig, with Dig and EG. So those are some teams I'm definitely kind of looking to target. As far as the scoring, though, let's see who's getting the points for us. Always the most interesting part of the slates. So let's see, Team Liquid, TSM, CLG, and Cloud9. So Cloud9 grading out the best, Team Liquid at the bottom, CLG and TSM in the middle. And Cloud9 again, TSM and CLG in the middle, Team Liquid at the bottom, C9 again, TSM, CLG in the middle, Team Liquid at the bottom. We're definitely seeing that trend. Cloud9 projecting the highest as far as the favorites go. Team Liquid projecting the worst as far as the favorites go, with CLG and TSM in the middle for the most part. Core JJ bumps just barely pips Smoothie, but that's not super surprising. So it looks like Cloud9 is, generally speaking, definitely going to be the best favorite play if you're trying to pair with a different underdog, like maybe a Dignitas, or if you believe in FlyQuest a little bit more than me. It looks like Cloud9's definitely the team to pair with, which isn't that surprising. They've been bloody for quite a while now. TSM and CLG seem like they kind of go back and forth as far as who's higher projected. TSM higher projected in 3 out of 5 positions, it looks like. So TSM against FlyQuest. Picking up some TSM, actually, I'm thinking FlyQuest will have some decent ownership on this slate, so picking up TSM really might be a place where you could get some value here. They look like they project roughly to be the second best team on the slate, and if people are on FlyQuest, that's less people to be on TSM, so I think TSM looks pretty reasonable. Let me take a look at some underdogs here. As far as the underdogs go, it's Evil Geniuses, I'm guessing, across the board. Yeah, Evil Geniuses across the board as far as underdog scoring, so let's just ignore them because they're going to be top of the table and everything, just like Cloud9. After that, it's 100 Thieves, FlyQuest, Dig, 100 FlyQuest, Dig, FlyQuest, 100, Dig, FlyQuest, 100. So it's pretty mixed up. 100 Thieves, generally speaking, other than Someday, they're at the bottom in 3 out of 5 positions, so it looks like 100 Thieves is kind of the lowest upside. That makes them just like a pretty easy full fade for me. They're not one of my favorite underdogs as far as like chance to win, and they don't project super well anyway. If they're the only underdog on the slate that wins, then yeah, you're going to want them in your lineup regardless, but I'm not necessarily sure that they make such a great play since I don't think they have a great win percentage, and they're sitting mostly at the bottom here. Dig and FlyQuest are kind of mixed up, so Evil Geniuses if you want to try to fade Cloud9, and then Dig and FlyQuest. I'm guessing that Dignitas's ownership is probably going to be lower than FlyQuest, so I think Dignitas is really like a team where I'm kind of landing on being a pretty good play tonight as far as a combination of ownership and upside. Let me try to do the ownerships here. It's hard to imagine that Cloud9 won't be number 1. I'm guessing probably Team Liquid next. They have an easier matchup. I think people are more inclined to go TSM than Team Liquid, but the matchup for Team Liquid's just too much easier. TSM and CLG, probably TSM. And I don't think, like, I definitely think the bottom teams are going to be 100 Thieves and Dignitas. And EG. Probably like that. And then FlyQuest and CLG probably next, so I'm guessing CLG. The favorites usually tend to have higher ownership in general. I'm guessing probably something like this. Dig and EG could maybe be swapped around. 100 Thieves probably the lowest, which is unfortunate because it'd be nice if they were going to have higher ownership, given that I don't think they're a very good play. I'm guessing it's probably going to look something like this. If there was somewhere here where I would likely to be making an error, it's probably right in this vicinity. People might really like that CLG Dignitas matchup after watching CLG last night. In general, though, a lot of people said CLG was the worst team in the league, including me. They were looking like the worst team in the league, leading into last night's matchup where they just absolutely stomped with the Volley Bear. I still don't think CLG is going to be a great team this season, so I think it looked like the best value was coming from TSM, from Cloud9, and then probably Dignitas and Evil Geniuses if you believe in them. FlyQuest as well, if you like FlyQuest. I'm not sure that I really like FlyQuest in this matchup tonight, but if you like them. As far as cash lineups go, it's got to be, kind of has to be Team Liquid Cloud9. Let's see who else is on the list here. CLG has a reasonably easy matchup. So let's see. TLC9 gets you a 206 projection. What if we mix CLG in there? C9 CLG gets you a 208.3. And CLG Team Liquid with a 207.1. So pretty close here. Given that you're only getting like 2.3 points at maximum from upside, it seems like that Team Liquid Cloud9 is where I would go. Go with the consistency, get that extra win rate. I don't think it's really worth going to a team with significantly lower winning percentage to get an extra 2.3 projection. The lineup that it came up with, by the way, was Broxa captain with Licorice, Blabber, Niski, Tactical, Core JJ, and Team Liquid team. That's what it comes up with for those two. It does fill the full salary cap. Just looking at it, I can't imagine you can get a fourth Cloud9 person in there very easily at all. The team slots. They've been kind of cheapening up the team slots, so I just wanted to have a look and see if there was a way to save a bunch of money on team slot, but nothing really there, so I'm guessing that's probably the cash lineup for today. Broxa, Licorice, Blabber, Niski, Tactical, Core JJ, and Team Liquid team. I could fiddle with it a little bit, but honestly, I think when it comes to a slate like this, I think the projections are probably just going to tell you what you need to know. I don't think, like, Team Liquid is not likely to be higher scoring than Cloud9, so I can't really fiddle with it to put a 4-team Liquid stack in there, because I don't think you want 4-team Liquid. I think you want as much C9 as you can get. Yeah, I don't think there's really much fiddling to be done with that one. I think that's probably just the optimal cash line right there. And as far as trying to leverage ownerships, yeah, I think 100 Thieves, EG is one that I'll definitely be trying to leverage. Dignitas makes tons of sense to me. I might try to stay out of this sort of mid-range here and go with Cloud9 with some of these other types of underdogs like Dignitas, and then go with Evil Geniuses with some teams like TSM and CLG, and maybe even some Evil Geniuses and Dignitas, getting those together. Yeah, seems like a pretty interesting slate. I'm more interested in when we can get some sort of weirder matchups. I think I like trying to play some teams against Cloud9 that won't have any ownership, like 100 Thieves when they played them. Evil Geniuses will probably get some amount of ownership, which kind of sucks. As far as like different types of combinations you might play, like in GPPs, if you're playing huge field GPPs, I think this is a decent day to go for something like an EG Dig. Dig and not playing Cloud9 is a way to get some probably pretty low ownership. Things like Dignitas and TSM or Dignitas and TL, and just hoping that maybe TL is a little bloodier than the projections show. Looking at the teams real quick, if you're playing medium field stuff, you can probably do something like Dig and Cloud9 is probably a decent shot. CLG and Cloud9, what do we get when we do CLG and Cloud9? I wouldn't be surprised if that actually has a pretty decent setup. No, you're still getting support captain. You can play 4 Cloud9 that way, but you get support captain. Don't be afraid to play support captain in GPPs, by the way. People hate playing support captain in GPPs, but if those are the two teams that are way bloodier than everybody else, then support captain's going to win it. I play support captains in GPPs all the time, especially with like teams like G2, where it's really hard to fit them in your lineups. But if you play them with support captains, you can fit them, and if they end up being way the bloodiest game of the day, then support captain's what's going to win. So don't be afraid to do that if you need to. Looking one by one at the teams, just want to see if there's any scoring weirdness as far as their projections. Ryoma actually outprojects Cody-san today, which is interesting. If you're happening to play 100 Thieves, I mean, I know I said 100 Thieves is not exactly one of my favorite plays, but someday also outprojecting Meteos, which doesn't surprise me. Team Liquid, Tactical Jensen, Broxa. Core JJ actually outdoing Impact as far as projections, but everything else right in order for them. On FlyQuest, it's Power of Evil. This has been happening for quite a while, that their mid laner generally will outscore Wild Turtle. They're actually projected for the same today, Mash Me might make for a pretty good play. Trying to get some leverage with him since Wild Turtle isn't playing this weekend and not as many people might be turned on to the whole Mash thing. He's also going to have a different play style than Turtle, so he might outscore Power of Evil. So I do like Mash lineups. On TSM, it's Bjergsen out-projecting Double Lift. A little bit surprising, but Bjergsen is that kind of player as well, and Double Lift hasn't exactly been the resource hog he was in the past. So some Bjergsen lineups. Sven, Niski, Blabber. Of course, Cloud9 just does it right in the right order. Of course they do. Damn you, Cloud9. Evil Genius is Jizuke with the big projection. Definitely some leverage there. Not only can you play EG, but you can play them with the Jizuke captain instead and try to get some leverage that way. CLG, you got Pobelter out expecting Stixay. It's really common in NA right now for the mids to be out projecting. That hasn't been happening in the other leagues. So, interesting there. Pobelter, so he makes a good captain lineup. I had some Pobelter captains last night, but it was actually Wiggly captain that was optimal last night. Or, not Wiggly captain, Spica captain, but jungle captains in general. And for Dignitas, it's just a standard John Sun. And amusingly enough, this is the spot where they make Froggen more expensive than John Sun, and John Sun getting the higher projection there. So if you're going to play some Dig, get some John Sun in there. Yeah, it should be a pretty good slate tonight. Definitely looking forward to it. Let's see. I'll try to take a quick look at FanDuel. Just pricing-wise for cash. So we would want to get Cloud9 and Team Liquid. I think as far as another, like a team slot, I think TSM probably makes the most sense. Let me see what we can do with a TSM team lock. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be the team, I suppose. What does it come up with? The three team system on FanDuel I just really don't like in general, but what do we get when we put these together? Oh, I forgot we don't have the projections over here, so it's just doing it based on price. Team Liquid is actually the team that projects worst out of those. Am I correct on that? Hold on. Just those three teams. Yeah, Team Liquid projects the worst, so actually we'd be better off if we locked TL Team and then eliminated the other Team Liquid players. Let's see, 7,800 average. You can get Bjergsen with Broken Blade, Spica, Double Lift, Niski, and Vulcan would fit. Go back. And I made the same mistake yesterday because the MVP doesn't cost more money on FanDuel. Whoever is the higher projected of the two, like you wouldn't actually play Bjergsen MVP there, you'd play Niski MVP there. But let's see. Could you get something with like a Sven MVP? Is that even a thing? With Broken Blade, Spica, Bjergsen, Double Lift. Nah, I can't fit it, even with the cheapest players, so you would probably have to play mid-captain. Lock Liquid, Niski, Broken Blade, Spica, Bjergsen, Double Lift, Vulcan? Yeah, same thing we were looking at before, just with Niski and the captain instead of Bjergsen. That makes the most sense to me. As far as scoring, is there anywhere else that we could get an upgrade by spending our last $300? Not quite. Not quite. Yeah, so that seems like a reasonable cash lineup for FanDuel. Niski, Vulcan, 4 members of TSM, and then Team Liquid team. I like that quite a bit. Okay, guys, that's all for me. I'll be back later for LPL and LCK. Last video of the day for today. So, good luck with NA, good luck with EU. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.